Did you ever eat Colcannon when it was made with yellow cream, with the greens and scallions blended like a picture in a dream? Did you ever make a hole on top to fill the melting lake with the clover flavoured butter that your mother used to make? Well, it's a gloriously grey and damp morning here in Southern California and giving us a bit of a memory of home, and what better way to warm the cockles of our heart today but the humble potato. So today we're making mashed potatoes and also making something we used to make with any leftovers, a staple of a lot of Irish breakfast. It's called the Boxty. For the mashed potatoes, the amounts used here are enough to make 2 or 3 servings. We start by peeling the potatoes, and always peel away from yourself so you don't peel your fingers. Once those are peeled, you cut them into quarters and put them in a pot of cool water. Set them aside on the cooker and boil them for about 15 minutes. When a quarter of an hour has passed, test the doneness with a fork. You stick the fork in, and if it comes out without little or any resistance, your potatoes are done. The cooking time will vary depending on the size of your spuds, of course. Now we'll drain them well, and you can leave them in the pot. We put them in the bowl so you can see what's going on. We mash these up, and we mash them well because we want these to be smooth and fluffy. We don't really want any lumps in there. Then you need to add your butter. It's about a tablespoon for every potato. That seems to be about the right amount, but you can add more or less if you'd like. Today, our dairy products have all been replaced with vegan versions. Now, I'm not a vegan, but we do have a vegan living in the house. So when we can, we substitute all our potato dishes for vegan versions. And I have to be quite honest, you really can taste the difference. Then we add our milk, somewhere around 2 tablespoons per potato. Make sure that you taste these now, and if there's anything you need to add, a little bit of salt maybe. If they're too dry, add more butter or milk. If you want to add pepper, now's the time to do it. Some people add garlic or cheese, but we love them just like this. Now you're left with a smooth and fluffy mashed potato that is a wonderful side dish. Although to be quite honest, in our household, the potatoes are never a side dish but are normally the main attraction. I'm going to move on to the Boxty now. Boxty is a traditional Irish pancake that is made from the leftover potatoes from yesterday and a little bit of fresh grated potato from today. It's used as a complement to breakfast here, and it's great with some rashers, some sausages, or part of the full Irish breakfast. For this recipe, we need some buttermilk. If you don't have buttermilk, don't panic. Everybody needs to calm down. We'll give you the recipe to make your own buttermilk. This will slightly affect the flavour, but it still works just fine. To make the buttermilk, you need 1 tablespoon of vinegar for every cup of milk. Mix those together and then let them sit for 10 minutes. Again, in this recipe, we substituted the cow's milk for some cashew milk. So while those are sitting, we peel 3 more potatoes. You can change the amount of potatoes used to make more or less Boxty, but just make sure you use the same amount of mashed potatoes as fresh potatoes. So if you use 3 mashed potatoes, guess how many fresh potatoes you use. This also doesn't have to be exact. These are very forgiving and estimating will work just fine. So after you have those all peeled, we grate them on the big holes of the box grater. These will start to turn a reddish brown as time goes on, but that won't affect the flavour of your Boxty. It's not really traditional, but we also added scallions because we had them left over. You could add a bit of onion or onion powder. You can even add a bit of cheese if you want. Add all of this to the bowl, then add your buttermilk, your mashed potatoes, a little salt and pepper, and about half a cup of flour. Now we added about a cup of buttermilk and a cup of flour, but we found that was way too much. So if you make these yourself, only use half a cup of each. Again, the measurements don't have to be exact, but when you're finished, your dough should be wet and not runny. Mix all that together and then add your baking powder. This is going to make our pancakes light and fluffy. Now after that's mixed, get a pan and heat it on medium heat. Then add a pat of butter into the pan, put a scoop of your Boxty in and spread it out just a bit so that it's not too thick. These need to cook for 4 to 5 minutes on each side because the raw potato needs to cook through. Monitor the temperature of your pan so that they don't burn. After 4 to 5 minutes, give them a little flip and let them cook for another 4 to 5 minutes. Then take them from the pan and are ready to serve. Our first one didn't come out too good, so we gave it to the dog. Actually, we gave it to the neighbour's dog. We just threw it over the wall, but he seems to be doing okay. These are really a wonderful pancake to make. Very quick and easy. They're great with a fried egg, maybe some spam, or as I said earlier on, it's part of the full Irish breakfast. Now remember everybody, the world is a better place because you're in it, and you can do this.